Thank you for tuning in to Nonprofits Talk. On this show, we discuss topics related to nonprofit capacity building, specifically in the areas of marketing and fundraising. I'm your host, Terrence Harrington. Today, our guest is Sandra Davis. Sandra is a passionate communications professional who is committed to providing coverage of the nonprofit sector. As a Chicago contributor for BlackGivesBack.com, the premier website for Black philanthropy, Sandra researches, liaises, interviews, and collaborates with organizations, leading nonprofit professionals, and media professionals in order to fulfill her role. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Terrence. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So what we're going to be talking about today is African Americans in philanthropy.
Great.
So the reason that I asked Sandra on is because of the fact that she does contribute to the BlackGivesBack.com website. And if you have an opportunity to take a look on that website, you'll see some interesting things happening in the African American community. So Sandra, let's start it right off. What is philanthropy?
Oh, actually, let me start with my name. Sandra actually means helper of humanity.
Awesome.
So let's go take it to the Greek. And then let's take more Greek. Philanthropy actually means love of humanity.
Okay.
So there's a basic definition. Philanthropy is the positive, contributing to the positive welfare of others through money, time, and talent.
So what made you get into philanthropy?
Oh man, my mother is a natural giver, and she instilled giving in me. My whole family, and I think the whole African American community is built on giving. We nurture each other. We give, people. There's a myth about the church dinners, the chicken dinners, but that's a form of love. When we give food, or when you give your time and you nurture someone. I'm a natural born giver. My mother is a giver. My grandmother was a giver, and I'm a giver.
So it just came to you. It was all in the family.
It's all in the family.
So why should other African Americans get involved in the philanthropy world?
Oh, well, because African Americans face some mighty issues. I don't know if you've looked in the news lately.
Yeah.
We face economic, judicial, educational, just societal in general, inequalities and injustices. And we have to create institutions and organizations that address our needs. We have to be philanthropists.
Right.
It's a necessity.
So when setting up a philanthropic endeavor, so I guess we take it back to in a community where, on Sundays, the neighborhood, what do you call her? The Medea of the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
Would cook for the whole community. So I guess that's a form of philanthropy that you're talking about.
Oh my God, that's African Americans are some of the biggest philanthropic organizations and philanthropists. The Black Church, to me, is one of the hugest nonprofit / foundations in the world. Especially my church. Let me give Pastor my credit. John Hanna, right down the street, New Life. We have mission trips. We give back to the communities. We give to children who are going to colleges, schools. We raise money for book bags, gifts. We raise money for people in need for food. We give job coaching. It runs
the gamut. Huh?
It runs the gamut.
So when I think of philanthropy, and I was ignorant at one point in time, I thought you had to have a lot of money to be a philanthropist.
No,
and it takes a lot of money. So talk to us, about that. Does it take a lot of money to be a philanthropist, or does it take any money at all?
It doesn't take a lot of money to philanthropy, but money helps. Money helps everything. And what I base philanthropy on, a lot of people do on their religion or just their attitude towards the world. It's your time, your talent, and your treasure. And people can give that in various ways. I personally, my story right now, mostly I'm giving my time and my talent to several different organizations. In the past, I was on the board of Urban Gateways, which is an organization that provides arts education to Chicago public school students for over 50 years. And so I've also, I work with Black Gives Back. This is also like a passionate or my philanthropic effort to the world, because I promote, I inform and educate people about philanthropy in the Black community. So
So it doesn't take money to be a philanthropist.
No, it doesn't. It takes your time, your talent, and your treasure.
And if you have the treasure, then that's an added bonus.
Oh, no, you should definitely have treasure. One of my examples is Oprah. Oprah is very ingenious. She has a passion for girls, but also global women issues and education. So she created her school in Africa to educate a group of African girls and in turn women to take over and dominate the world. And she's doing it, but also she did something very strategic.
What was that?
She worked with Starbucks to create the chai tea tiazi. And so when you go into Starbucks and you buy the chai tea, and I think it says her name, Oprah, it goes back to the school. So she's actually creating a sustaining nonprofit. That's a lot of times in the African American community and the Black community, we don't create sustaining organizations, and we don't provide the monies, the treasure, the funds that these organizations need to sustain themselves over the long haul. And so the issue that's being addressed can be actually solved or can be addressed over a long period of time.
Yeah. So I think one of some of the resistance in the African American community is that not just from a philanthropic standpoint, is that, you know, if I give my money to an organization, that they're going to misappropriate the funds.
Very much so.
You know, and so I think if we can get over that stereotype, then, you know, more people will get involved in their philanthropic endeavors. But you nailed it when you told me that, you know, it doesn't just take money. You know, it takes your time, it takes your talent. So people out there, if you're looking to get involved in the charitable community, the charitable world, you know, don't think that it takes a lot of money to do that. You know, you can be a philanthropist through, like Sandra was alluding to, your time, your talent, you know, that we have in our community. So that leads me to the next question. How do you get involved with philanthropy?
Oh, I think everything should start with passion. That's an incredible currency. When you have passion, you draw the things that you want and need towards you. So when you start with your passion or something that you're really upset about, you can either start with something you're angry about or passionate about. So once you start with that, and then it'll come to you. But once you start with your passion, and then start by researching on social media websites or media platforms for nonprofits such as Black Gives Back and different things like that. So you'll see your issue. So it's your passion or something you're angry about, and the community, a deep community need. So once you combine those two, so you're passionate about the art. I'm passionate about the arts and education.
Okay.
So when you put the arts and education in Chicago, in the Google search engine, Urban Gateways comes up. This organization has been around for 50 years. So just do that. Let's do an incredible a Google search. So if you're passionate about culinary and you're passionate about children, Common Threads will come up. And this is Common Threads is an incredible organization that provides food education to people in the various communities. So
and now both of those are locally based organizations.
These are locally based organizations. So I would suggest when you do your Google search, put the local area in, because you can have a direct impact on your community. But also you can always volunteer with global or national organizations to get that type of experience as well. And there are actually 2 million nonprofits in America. So you can find your organization. There's an organization for you. And also when you are passionate about an issue or are you angered about a subject matter, don't just pick one organization. Pick a few so you can address the problem from various ways. Wow,
that's some good advice right there. Now, one of the things that, like I said before, I was ignorant to the fact that I'm thinking philanthropy, you know, were Oprah Winfrey's and, you know, people of that statue, you know, but you just educated us to let us know that anybody can be a philanthropist. Anybody with the time, talent, and treasure to get involved with a charitable cause can be a philanthropist. Is that correct?
Also, they can have fun with it. This other incredible nonprofit called Diaspora Rhythms are a group of African American art collectors.
Okay.
And they have fun. They what they do, they support living Black artists. They support also Black galleries. They go into Chicago public schools and teach students art appreciation and teach them the history of the Black arts in the community. Chicago has such a rich culture of Black arts in the community. It's amazing. And they also educate the public about Black arts and actually teach people how to be collectors of art.
Wow.
So they throw parties. They are amazing. They have drinks. They have wine. So it doesn't have to be a drudgery. It doesn't have to be something. When you volunteer for an organization, it doesn't have to be, like a job, stuffy. You can have fun. Most philanthropists love kicking it up. I don't know if you watch. I think her name is Candace. She has a column in the Chicago Tribune every Sunday, and she talks about all the parties she goes to. philanthropists like to party and give money. So if you're a philanthropist, you
It's a winning combination, huh?
yeah, you're supposed to have fun, and you're supposed to give from joy and your passion and love. So if giving is like a turn, the way you're thinking about give is a turn off, is a drudgery of something that you're obligated to do, you shouldn't give. If you're happy about it and you're joyous about giving, then you should give.
Yes.
It should be a blessing. It should be, I don't know.
No, you nailed it right there. It should be a blessing. You should get excited about giving.
Yeah.
You know. So with that being said, how do you start? Where do you start? You know. And I know you gave us a lot of different search engine tools, and I think you told me earlier today that June is African American Philanthropy.
August
Okay.
is actually African American Philanthropy Month, and please visit BlackPhilanthropyMonth.com.
BlackPhilanthropyMonth.com.
Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and
indeed.
so what would you see when you go to that website?
Oh, you will see Black givers not only across the United States but across the world, and how Black philanthropists, Black givers are giving back to their communities and the impact that they're making. And addressing your question, I think everyone should have a personal mission statement and vision statement and some values that they live their lives by. And so that's how you figure out if you should align yourself with certain organizations. Does their vision or mission statement for their lives and values mimic your own or align with your own? And if they do, that's how you know you should be a part of this organization. And align yourself with this organization.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So outside of figuring out who you should align with, what your personal mission statement is, what type of commitment, time, and effort should be really involved in being a philanthropist?
You should actually really evaluate your life, your life cycle in life and your career. Right now, I'm actually changing my my time talent mix because I'm actually a real estate broker as well, and so I need to, especially around this time, I need to concentrate more on my business.
On the business,
and so eventually, because I'm concentrating on business, I will have treasure to give.
Right.
Thank you. But
so it works out then.
It works out, but people are definitely stuff. And also your needs. If you need certain things, sometimes if you need to be paid, maybe necessarily to take a volunteer or a position at a nonprofit. Maybe you should seek a paid position. If you're you have to sustain yourself, you should seek a paid position.
Right.
If money is no object, you should definitely volunteer your time, volunteer your knowledge, which is your talent. So you really need to evaluate yourself, your life cycle, in your career, and in your life, and see how you can best contribute to the organization and still sustain yourself. Don't give from lack. Don't give from a position of weakness. Always give from your overflow.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yes.
awesome. That summed it up right there.
Okay. Always give from your overflow.
But so again, now you touched on the question that I was about to ask about the strategy.
Okay.
You know, so the strategy of a philanthropist is what, and like you say, to give from your overflow.
Yes.
And what other strategic positioning should you take as a philanthropist?
You should really explore a lot of different organizations. Again, there are 2 million organizations in the United States. But also, you should definitely, when you're volunteering or you're introducing yourself to organizations, really evaluate the organization and see if they're fulfilling their missions and vision statements, and they're on the way to accomplishing their goals. And if they're not, I'm not sorry to say it. I'm saying it. You should leave that organization alone and leave that organization alone quickly, because if they're not accomplishing their mission and vision and their goals, there's something wrong with their organization. Maybe you could. And sometimes, again, being a new person to an organization, it's sometimes hard for people who's been in the organization a long time to hear you. But hopefully you could be able to pull someone to the side and, don't say it in a negative way. Bring up positive solutions to problems. And if they don't listen to you or any way address those problems, move along quickly to one of the other 2 million organizations in the United States.
So, outside of the fact that, some philanthropists get to really socialize.
Yes. Yes.
What are some of the other rewards of being a philanthropist?
It's just, if you're not, and that's another thing. If you're not feeling, if it's not invigorating you, energizing you, encouraging you to give, if you don't see that you're making a direct impact in someone's lives, you shouldn't be giving. It should be a reciprocal and mutual benefit when you give. If you're not getting the benefit and the organization is not getting the benefit, there's a problem.
Right.
It should, and if you're not creating connections and bonds, and if you're not constantly, continuously learning, that is not the place for you. So that's where you should. If you're getting positive results, if the other people are getting positive results, and you're building connections and you're learning new things, that's what it's all about.
That's powerful.
That's real. That's good stuff.
So how do you find the right partners? You know, I understood you said, well, you know, what is your passion? Connect your passion to an organization. Outside of that, is there anything else that a person should be doing as far as, you know, when they're looking to step into their philanthropic world?
Oh, definitely. You should guard your time. Because when you first enter the philanthropic world, people are going to not necessarily take advantage of you. Well, take advantage of you. They're going to call on you to do things, a lot of things. So you should, again, always evaluate your time, treasures your talents, and how much time that you can actually talent and treasure you to actually give to an organization. And again, I think playing search engine roulette on Google would be incredible. But also your network, your family, your friends, your church, your community organizations in your own area. If you're not, you know, again, talking to people, learning from people, and getting to know from the people in your community what they need and needs that you can address, what are you doing? You need to be talking to people.
Right.
And just meeting people down the street. Oh, this is an organization that I volunteer with, and you should be exploring these organizations, all these opportunities. But there are some major organizations in Chicago. The Chicago Community Trust is an amazing organization. They give to various smaller nonprofits. So if you call them, they could actually direct you to nonprofit, and you tell them your passion, they can actually direct you to a nonprofit that would need your services. Wow. So that would be a great opportunity, a great resource.
So what I'm hearing you say is that in the beginning, set boundaries. You know, when dealing with organizations.
Oh yes, because it's, again, people will take advantage of you, and it's not. And again, like we said, giving from your overflow, giving should energize you, giving should uplift you and build connections, and you should always have goodwill when you give. But when you overgive, when you're giving from a lack, or when you overextend yourself, you become weak. You become less passionate about something and resentful of something you're truly passionate about. So never put yourself in a position of weakness or a position where you lack any power. So again, like, always put yourself in a good position when you're giving.
So how do you evaluate the impact that you're making as a philanthropist?
Oh wow. You should, again, look at your personal mission statement, your personal vision, and your values. Again, the organizations that you work with should mimic that. And if these organizations are accomplishing their missions and vision statements, you're hitting it on the nail. But if they're not, you need to move on to one of these other organizations. So if they're accomplishing their mission, if you see it, if you see it, you hear it, or you see the impact of what you're doing. Oh man,
it's a win. Huh?
It's a win-win all around.
So we talked about time, talent, treasure. You know, so what's the best vehicle for philanthropists?
Again, what do you have to bring to the table? There's a woman, again, her name is Sandra. I love her. Her name is Sandra Rand. She's an amazing, she comes from an amazing entrepreneur family, and she sits on a lot of boards, and she gives a lot of money, but she can do that. She's a multimillionaire, but so she gives of her time strategically. Okay. So again, when you're in a power position, you have to give of your, and a lot of people wanted your time. You have to give of your time and your treasure and your talent strategically. And she throws a good party, so she's always hosting events.
Now, how did you find out about her?
Oh, I've just met her several times. She sits on a lot of boards I plan on sitting on. Okay. She works with the Southside Community Arts Center. She's actually a board member there. I'm very passionate about Black art. And so she sits on also the Leadership Advisory Council, which works with the Art Institute of Chicago. Okay. She's actually a member there. She's actually, I think, on the women's board of the DuSable Museum. And so when I go to the galas, because I cover them for Black Gives Back, I always see that beautiful young lady. I'm like, hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Your name means helper of humanity. She was like, I know.
So Is it appropriate to get a mentor?
Oh yes,
You know,
get several mentors because again, giving should be an individualized, customized experience because of your life cycle, because of the amount of money in your budget, because of you're a unique person.
Okay.
So you should definitely get a mentor, see how they give. Again, she gives from a power position because she's a multimillionaire entrepreneur. There's an other givers at my church may not necessarily have her income or wealth.
Right.
They give of their knowledge, and that's so important.
Yeah.
Nonprofits need a lot of knowledge, and so I see that all the time. So you should definitely have various mentors, and they should give in various ways. So
well, I tell everybody, you know, time is your scarcest resource.
oh yes,
You know, because if I invest time in you, I can't get that back.
Never.
I can always make more money.
Yes.
I can always learn a new skill.
Oh,
but that time, I can't say, well, Sandra, you owe me 30 minutes. I need you to get that back to me. That's not happening.
Really, there's no refund.
Right.
Wow.
So what other instruments can help further the philanthropist?
Oh, people have to get real because people give one time and they give their knowledge, but that's not a sustaining gift.
Right.
People, especially African Americans, we have to create funds. We have to create these larger organizations, endowments in our name so we could give over a long time, so we can give with sustainability. There's also an incredible woman. Hopefully she still works at Northern Trust. Her name is Marguerite Griffin. She's in head of their whole philanthropic department, and she actually works with wealthy individuals to create their funds so they can give and they give beyond their lifetime.
Wow.
So don't just think about you're here now or 10 or 15 years from now. And there's an incredible book, The Millionaire Mind versus the Middle Class Mind. Millionaires think in the future, and they think way in advance. And so just don't think about yourself. Think about your children's children, and that's how you should give. That's how you should sustain. So if you even have a little money, well, you should group your friends and your families together.
I was just about to ask you that. Do you start a club?
Yes, a giving circle.
Right, yeah, a giving circle. Okay.
Yes, you should definitely start a giving circle. But you should narrow down maybe the 2 to 3 topics or issues that you want to address and really give to that. Again, I know a lot of nonprofits, but I know also a lot of foundations. There's 2 million nonprofits, but there's only a certain amount of foundations. I would like to see nonprofits actually work together to address the common issues. And since sometimes they don't, the people, the givers, the philanthropists, and the foundations must work together to see that there's money, there's the time, talent, and the knowledge for these organizations to sustain. So if we pull our money together, our knowledge together, our efforts together, the top nonprofits, the nonprofits who actually are fulfilling their missions and doing the good work, the cream will always rise to the top.
Rise to the top.
They
And you just hit on my next question because we were talking you talked about the future planning. And how Proverbs 13:21 tells us that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children.
Yes.
And so starting that club, I think that starting the club is a great idea.
Definitely.
Because if you're having trepidation about possibly putting all of your money into a situation, you want to give, but at the same time you're a realist, you understand that you still have obligations in your own home, but at the same time you see the great need that's out there.
Yes.
Put that club together that Sandra was talking about. Because you believe me, $1,000 amongst a group of 10 people goes a long way.
Definitely.
Because there's a lot of need out there, and especially if you're targeting something that you're passionate about. And that's what I love about what Sandra talked about earlier. You have to be passionate about what it is that you want to be involved with. Because too often you see people, in a situation and they're disengaged.
Very much so. I've sometimes felt I was part of an organization and I disengaged because I didn't feel that they were fulfilling their mission or it was draining. I was giving too much of my time. But also, I want to go back, hit on something that you said. It should not just be a giving circle. It should actually be a financial club. So get all your finances in order. How can you give and your finances aren't together?
Oh, you preaching now.
So yeah, I need to work on that. So the giving circle should be a part of your overall financial intelligence, financial knowledge club.
What's the adage? Charity starts at home.
Oh, it does. The best thing you can do for somebody who's poor is not be one of
That's
them.
right.
Is not be one of them.
That is so true.
If you, again, let's give from the overflow.
Right.
Again, give from your abundance. Give from your wealth. Build your empire, and then because you have your heart is good. Your heart, you love people, and I do, and I know, of course, you do. And people love people.
Oh yeah.
You give from your abundance, and you should never be in a lack position when you're a giver.
Right, and I think you hit it the nail. It talks about it in the Bible. Be the lender and not the borrower.
Definitely.
And so one of the things, once you start giving,
yes.
believe it or not, if you trust the universe or God,
yes.
whatever spiritual being that you call, the higher power that you serve,
yes.
It comes back to you 100-fold.
Oh,
Believe it or not, it's something about it. It's like it's magical.
Oh, it is. And then sometimes, like right now, I need some knowledge in certain situations, and I know when I give, I'm gonna get that knowledge back. It's gonna come out the ether. Like we were talking earlier that I want to have a lifestyle show for African Americans, and I was talking about this like earlier this month. Like I want to be on TV, and this young man contacted me and put me on TV. So
that's the universe answering, what you put out there.
When you ask, believe, and you shall receive.
It'll come back, But I think, when I was thinking about this topic and when I saw, your credentials and what you did, I thought it's so important because of the fact that we live in a world that, sometimes we become island unto ourselves.
Yes.
But, and that's when a lot of your sicknesses start developing and, your mental capacity starts to diminish. But when you start getting out there and giving, being involved, I don't know what it is, but it invigorates you. It gets you back to the point of, wait a minute, I understand what my purpose, and I think that's what happens, Sandra. A lot of people don't know what their purpose is, and then when they find that purpose and you start getting involved with various organizations, it's something that, you get excited, you're happy to wake up in the morning, and so, but you educated me so much to the point that I'm telling you, I really thought that philanthropist was about having a lot of money, that endowment that you talked about, that was the recipe to being a philanthropist. I had to have enough money to put into endowments and stuff. But like you just said, that should be one of the strategies.
One of them.
But that's not the only way that you become a philanthropist. I don't know, audience, if you learned anything from that, but that was powerful for me. That to hear that, because again, you think Oprah Winfrey, you think Bill Gates, you think, because of the fact that philanthropist is always attached to their name.
Very much so.
You got to start calling yourself philanthropist.
Oh yes. Also, let's give a good example of a woman. She was a washerwoman in May. Osceola McCarthy. She sent black children to college.
She was a millionaire, right?
Yeah, she was a multimillionaire, but she also savings. Okay, again, philanthropy is a part of your full financial plan, people. Get your money together. I gotta get mine together. And it should be a part of your whole financial pie. And philanthropy should be a large part of that. But again, giving from your overflow. This woman saved her money. She was a washerwoman. I don't think she had a third-grade education.
Right.
But she sent so many children to college, and they created an endowment in her name. And again, Osceola McCarthy. Please look this amazing woman up. And she was on various shows that she was never, so-called wealthy woman, and she never was this, but she truly was wealthy. We have wealth. We have abundance. We have prosperity, but we have to access and use it appropriately.
Right. So Sandra, in closing, do you have any closing remarks?
That you are a philanthropist, you are a giver. Just give openly and freely, but give from a place of abundance, and give from a place of joy, and give from a place of love, and it'll always be a blessing to you and to the other person. Well,
I thank you so much for providing these pearls of wisdom. I'm telling you, you educated me, you inspired me to go out there to do things that, even though I've been doing it, but it helps to get confirmation from other people that you're on the right track. So audience, if you want to learn more about Sandra and her organization, you're going to visit our website, which is www.nonprofitsmatter.org. Again, that's www.nonprofitsmatter.org. And when you go over there, you have a link to her website, and you'll see some of the great things that she's working on, and give her email and learn about philanthropy some more, because I'm telling you, this is something that's going to help not only the community as a whole, but in your household. She nailed it when she said charity starts at home. And you get your financial position together first, and then you're able to help greater people. Yes. So Sandra, thank you so much for joining us on Nonprofits Talk. And Nonprofits, remember, if people don't know you exist, they can't support you.
They can't.